Jason J. Rock Houston, and my co-host is always Tom Collier from the band Held Hostage. And you are watching the This Is Metal show. Now, as for our guest today, we have two great guests, and they are.
Hey, it's Mike, Lasso Mike, and I am the A&R guy at Firerock Music Group and the head guy at Lasso Mike's Firerock TV show.
I'm Andy, Zeroking. You're watching This Is Rock, or This Is
This is
Firerock.
metal. This
Yeah.
is metal, Andy, but that's all right. It's been a while. I gotta share with folks that Andy, I think Tom, when Tom became the new co-host of the show, Andy, I think was our second guest, and we haven't had him back because he's been super busy touring, supporting his band Zeroking. And the reason we're all doing this show together is because Tom and Mike and Andy finally met up a month or so ago, and we want you guys to talk about what was it finally like to meet in person. And you guys posted some great photos. So, Tom, why don't we start with you, and then we'll go around to the guys.
Well, it was great because Mike and I have been talking, it seems like forever, but a couple of years. He was hired, and a lot of people laughed. They never knew this. I hired Mike to run the A&R division of Fire Rock Music Group, and we'd never met in person. So that was our first time. It was a great time. I mean, we sat back there, we talked, we laughed, we watched people. Crazy shit went on throughout the show that we really can't talk about, but the dressing room was wild, wasn't it, Mike?
Oh my God, it was wild, man. It was, my whole goal was go up there and meet Tom. It really wasn't about who was playing or whatever. It was more about the best part of it was sitting on that couch backstage and me and him just taking everything in, just like we took it all in, and like he said, there's things that we can't talk about, but
yeah.
people know, but
Yeah.
We can't talk about it.
Now, Mike, I got to say, the anticipation of you guys meeting, even for me, I follow you on social media, and the day, I think it was the day you left, all along the way, you were like taking little videos and posting them on your site, like getting ready to go to a concert and meet Tom and this and that. And then I dug the way you kind of, did that. It made it kind of like an event.
Oh yeah, me and Andy got there on Friday, and Andy's like, "Oh, we're going to stop somewhere, and we'll drive the rest of the way." And he's like, "Oh, well, hell, it's only this far. Let's go ahead and go." So we were already at the hotel when Tom arrived the next day. So yeah, it was pretty neat, being in a new town. Me and him like to try new things and stuff like that, like restaurants and stores and stuff like that. We're in a new town. Andy can tell you about whatever he would like to talk about.
So, Andy, before I let you get into, let me ask you, did you and Mike actually go together like on a car ride, or did you meet up somewhere?
No. I went and picked him up in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
So I went probably hours the other way to get him. Then we drove to Jersey. We came up Pennsylvania and Maryland and Delaware because we made little stops here and there. We hit a dispensary in Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the old saying, I believe, Andy and Mike, is half the fun is just getting there, right?
Yeah. Trip. It was great. Getting to the venue. The venue's awesome. It's got history. I looked up, some of the people and some of the famous things that happened there. Like Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, and started the Bon Jovi out of that club. Skid Row used to play there before, and so the club has a ton of hits, and it was cool. It was my first time. We went to a really great day, like a Chinese, Japanese sushi. That was the main.
Tom,
I gotta say, man,
but yeah, I mean,
you can't eat cheap sushi.
okay.
What now?
I said after you eat that sushi, you can't eat cheap sushi. It just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that was good stuff. That was truly good stuff. The the antics before the show with the other band. That was a maybe not what to do, what not to do.
Wow, wow. So Tom, your band Held Hostage was playing that night. Am I correct? To talk a little bit about the concert where the guys came and met you.
Yeah, so we were the direct support act for them, for Metal Allegiance. That was our fourth show with Metal Allegiance, and they actually asked us to come to LA with them again. But I withdrew from that show because I've got other things going on that same day. I'll be in California, but I'm not going to play the Metal Allegiance show. They were disappointed, but I just said couldn't do it. But it was a lot of fun because I always wanted Mike to see my band. We were supposed to play Kentucky, but some things happened for Kentucky. We didn't make it out there. But so I was just happy that Mike got to see me play and perform, and Andy got to see me. Mike, what did you think?
I think that the CD does no justice to what the live band is, and you all were, as you would say, at 50% capacity because it was such a little stage you were on. I'd like to see you on a bigger stage, like you always talk about Sharky's up there. I'd love to see you play there, and I didn't know what to expect really. I mean, Bill doesn't look like that comes out of his mouth, honestly. And Bill's probably one of the top vocalists I've ever heard, as far as a guy that isn't a band that, like that, I mean, and Andy even told me, it's like, man, he goes, he didn't know what to expect either, so when we both saw him, we were just like, wow, blown away. And his bass player, Dave, all great guys, I still talk to Bill this day. Bill's a big collector of media, and he likes boutique companies, as they're called, more high end. And we talk about that a lot. So, yeah, I still talk to Bill quite a bit. And it's never about music, though. It's always about movies with Bill. So,
Yeah.
not wrong.
Now, when you and Andy were driving up there, Mike, I mean, you guys, like us, have talked over the internet, and it's the first time you actually meeting. So what was that bonding experience like for you? I mean, because it seems like, just from what you guys have each said so far, that you got a lot more in common than just the music you listen to.
Yeah, me and Andy go to a lot of things together. We do a lot of things together. If I go to a show, Andy's with me or Andy's taking me, and it's because of him that I really searched out for my first interview for November 1st. It comes out with Michael Levy, the co-producer of Terrifier 2 and 3, and also the creator of Stream. It was because of Andy, because Andy's such a big fan of Terrifier that, I tried to get interviews with Damon Leone and with Hart Thornton, the guy that plays Art, and they just never happened. And I messaged Michael, and Michael's like, sure. So that's the first interview that's on November 1st on.
Oh, we can't wait to see that. Now, Andy, what was it like for you to see Held Hostage? You're a performer yourself, so you and Tom got that in common, and you and Tom are also great songwriters. So, like, to talk about seeing Tom and the band Held Hostage perform in concert, what was that like? Was it everything you thought it would be and more? I think we lost Andy.
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll wait until he comes back. But
well, I can say it was a great fun night, and I was just everybody had a good time. The crowd that never knew our music, we had them singing along with us. I do the Bon Scott thing because I had met Bon Scott and I wrote the song Tonight's the Night. We had the whole crowd chanting Tonight's the Night. They'd never heard that song before, and then I go into a Bon Scott where I actually pretend I'm Bon Scott singing the words in there and shit. So it came out really good. It was so much fun. We ended up moving up to direct support because we had done so many shows with it. That was like our third direct support act for them. Usually they were going to have Mean Streak there, but they called and said, "Hey, would Held Hostage be all right stepping up to direct support?" I said, "Absolutely, we'll take the spot." So it was great. But yeah, we did lose Andy. But Mike, what was your experience out there? I mean, we got to meet a lot of the rock stars, things like that, and just the energy in the room. We tried to bring it up when we play. We try to elevate the room.
Yeah, as far as different people that were there, we were standing there watching the guys in Meral Allegiance sound check, and Dave Elson come off the stage and walked right up to us. And after we talked to him, Andy looked at me and goes, did he know you were going to be here? I'm like, no. He's like, he walked right up to us, act like we'd known him forever. And I mean, he stood there and talked to us. And, it was a good experience, to tell him, how I felt. And, Dave was really nice. I've interviewed Dave like 4 times in the past, and they've always been really good interviews, but they were all email interviews back in the day.
Sure.
So, to see him, Doc Coyle from Bad Wolves and God Forbid, dude, he was a super cool guy. I mean, everybody was. We were standing there backstage, and Tom had already left, and Andy's like, "Well, let's go." I'm like, "No, wait a minute. Let's see what happens here. Wait just a minute." And then all of a sudden, John Bush came down, and we talked to him, and I've told this story already, but I looked at Andy. I said, "I think I know that guy over there." And Andy's like, "Yeah, he looks kind of familiar to me too." And I said, "I think I know you." And he goes, "You don't know me?" And he's like, "Who are you? Why do you think you know me?" And blah blah blah. Anyway, it ended up being Mark Mendoza from Twisted Sister, and we got to talk to him all night. He talked to us all night. I mean, he talked to us about the Dictators. He was the original drummer in the Dictators with Tom's best friend Ross, and told him he was in Kentucky. Told him about being in Kentucky and thought he was going to die. And I mean, it was really, really cool. I mean, I've met a lot of famous people, so
Sure.
it wasn't like this huge big deal to me, but to be able to see him, Mark, somebody that I loved in Twisted Sister, was really cool, and for him to want to take time to talk to me,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. What I loved about that story, Mike, is the fact that these are our heroes, people that we meet, that we looked up to. We listened to their music, we bought their albums, and when you're having that conversation with him, he's like, "I don't know you." He even in his own little world, forgets that he's a famous musician, that he may not have ever met you, but you know him. You bought his albums, and then you realize, oh, okay, wait a minute, you know me because I was in Twisted Sister.
Yeah, like I said, I'd come there to meet Tom.
Yeah.
That was the main goal, and we had not met before, except for on, we talk every day just about, and, video chat every once in a while, and all that. Me and him had already made Firerock a big success, with the band that are on it and all that. And me and him had never even met each other ever. And, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, very few people could have done what me and Tom have done in a year and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, I just be honest. I mean, we have took the world by storm with Firerock Music Group, and it's built and built and built and built to, the channel, the YouTube channel now, and having Firerock as the TV show I do, second season.
Yeah.
More people are coming to me wanting me to do interviews with them too, because they've seen the quality of work that Christine, the girl that does my videos, has done, and not to mention the fact that in the first season, Tom's band was the ending credits, and NZM was the starting credits. Now we flipped it around, and Tom's band is the first credit, first going into the show, and NZM's at the end. So we did that on purpose. Me and Tom sat down and talked, and I was going to use other bands' music, and we talked about using Firerock music. And next season it'll be 2 other bands. So, me and him work hard at what we do. I mean, it's like we were saying before we came on, Fast Mothers come out on 11/8 along with their video, and that's on CD. And then also the Atomic Kings come out with their vinyl on that day. We took that band from another label.
Sure.
When it didn't do what they could do with them, and we took them and pretty much resurrected them, didn't we, Tom?
Yep, we did. Let's not forget Irv Lyons releases 11/5 on Election Day, his album Euphonious. And Irv just won a bunch of Native American awards, international awards and stuff like that. So he's releasing digitally. I mean, we got so many great bands. I mean, I'm excited about the Fast Mothers too. I think they're going to do really good. Well, you got to hear their song "Honey Mercy Me" or "Honey Mercy Please." What a great tune that was that I sent you in the video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I got to tell people. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry. Go ahead.
If you like the Black Crows
Yeah.
and the Rolling Stones mixed with Dirty Honey, you'll like the Fast Mothers. And I know the Fast Mothers have been on the show before,
Sure.
but they're two brothers from twin brothers from Memphis.
Yeah.
Their dad was a renowned musician in Memphis and played on Last Kiss, the song that Pearl Jam made famous. And their dad was on the original track of it. You know, they're already talking about putting out a new album.
Yeah. And they at least get along a lot better than the Robinson brothers, the Black Crows. Yeah.
And I wanted to say this real quick too. I just had a conversation with Nick from NZM yesterday. He called me and said that he's got a new track for me and Tom to listen to, and he's going to have a new album ready for us by the first of the year. So can't wait to hear that. Nick's a great guy. Nick's, the singer and keyboardist for
AJ Malmsteen. Yeah.
And he's on tour right now as we speak. I think they're in Texas this week, I think Nick said.
Yep.
So they're doing all Texas dates, but hopefully Nick will be on, NZM will be on a tour starting in January or February next year. So
yeah, well, it looks like we lost Andy, folks. We'll have to have him on a future episode. He's always welcome back. He's an old friend. But before we wrap up today's episode, Tom, I want to just thank Mike too, because he's been a great friend to both of us. He of course works for you at Firerock, and when you're unable to do an episode of This Is Metal because you have a show or something, he has filled in, and he will continue to do that on future episodes when you're unable to do it. So we want to thank you for that, Mike, and also for being a part of our huge viral anniversary episode, which I don't know if you realize this, Mike, but that has turned into our most popular episode to date. Wow. So thank you for being part of that.
Yeah, I figured on that episode before we came on, I figured Tom would know who it was. So I don't think it was no secret to him, really, Was it, Tom? Was it a secret?
Not at all. Not at all. I knew you would be there.
Yeah.
The one I didn't know was Ben. I didn't know Ben was going to come on there, but it was a great episode, lots of fun, and this channel has grown so much. I mean, we're right at 2,000 right now. I mean, I think we're like just about 1,992 or something like that. We're like 8 people away. I think we've all of us have contributed in this and growing the channel. I'm just excited for that. It's been a great experience. It's only going to get better.
Speaking of Ben, I think he's about done with the pilot episode of Midas Cove now. Last time I talked to him, they had done a lot of stuff, and I needed to do some parts, which I'm supposed to be doing very soon. But Midas Cove, the pilot episode's about done, I do believe. And, Ben's worked his ass off on that for the last 3 years to get this accomplished. And, of course, Tom's involved and Firerock's involved, because our music will be on the soundtrack, and of course I'm involved. So, and then also Jamie from
Jupiter Nights. Jupiter Night
is in it, and Jupiter Nights album, Cranberry Suits album, and Belfast Six Pack will all be coming out at the first of the year.
Wow! Already rocking the new year, guys, huh?
Same thing with we just signed the Spider Rockets. Their album's completely done. They're getting me everything. They're looking at probably a February or March release too for us too. This is their first time on a record label. Great band. They've toured with Puddle of Mud. They've been out there with all the big bands. They're real experienced people too. So Mike's brought some great people to this label. Very exciting time for us. And as you know, people are going to know, we're going to be announcing that we have signed the Metal Hall of Fame All-Stars too. And we'll be talking about that too. There's going to be a press release going out about that too. I think next week probably.
Can't wait for that. And Tom, finally, before we wrap up today's episode, let people know what's going on with your own band, Held Hostage.
Brand new album is going to be done. I've rewrote it 3 times. I'm just a perfectionist. So I next week I'm going to go in. I've been crazy busy. I'm going to go in and start laying the tracks and get it done. And it's going to be exciting because there's going to be some stars on there. Plus, we're going to premiere Bill Ali as our singer. I mean, he filled some big shoes when he stepped in for Ripper Owens. I mean, and Ripper filled Joe Lynn Turner, Ripper Owens, and now Bill Ali. And I think people are going to be happy. I mean, everybody that sees Bill are shocked. We just did a show outdoors with him, and the whole place was like, my God, where did you find that guy? We didn't outdoor concert.
Tom, he really had big shoes to fill. Besides Ripper Owens, you were the lead vocalist from time to time, so he's filling into those big Tom Collier shoes as well.
Yeah, I only did it out of necessity. In fact, the last show I had to sing. One before that I had to sing because Bill had ended up in the emergency room. Nobody knew the difference. The whole crowd was like, "Oh, we love you guys!" Like, yeah, well, because we never say anything negative. We don't say we don't have a singer or anything. We just go out there and we hit them. We're always prepared. It's happened on tour, so you got to be ready on tour. Somebody goes down, next man up. That's how I started singing on the United States tour. I just stepped in and sang. We lost a singer. He lost his voice. So I said, well, we can't stop. Yeah. So, but all good.
Thank you, guys. You've been watching the This Is Metal show.
Oh, yes. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.